Good morning. I'm sitting out here on my patio looking at the plants that me and Connor planted last night and just thinking of the blessings of the Lord. The Bible says this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. And sometimes we have a hard time finding the joy in a day, especially when things ain't going like we'd like for them to. But God has been good to me. And I was thinking as we planted these plants last evening that I put them in a pot, and I had two different pots, and I fill one pot full of water, and then I'd go and water the other one, then go back and water the other one, wanting that dry old dirt that sat there all winter long to be moist where the plants would grow. And I turned around and looked at my pot, and them two of my tomato plants were just floating away in that pot. We had put soil in there, but we put the wrong kind. It didn't have enough dirt in the soil. It was just that mulch and stuff like that in it. And my plants didn't stay down in the mud. They just come up to the top and were just floating away so peaceably. And I thought, boy, I know right now I ain't no farmer because I sure don't know how to farm. But I come from a lot of descendants that were farmers. And I thought, well, different ones has asked me to tell my age. So I'll tell you, I'm 76 years old, and I've earned every one of them 76 years, honestly. I didn't cheat to get extra ones. I've earned them all. And the Lord has been good to me in those 76 years. I've got a lot to be thankful for. God has given me certain talents, but I've also learned that I don't have some talents. And some talents have to be developed and worked on. You can't become something overnight. You have to work at what you become. And a lot of times in our lifetime, people influences us to be what we turn out to be and what kind of person we turn out to be by how we handle not what they've done to us, but how we handle what they have done to us. In other words, if somebody says something ugly to you, do you get mad and blow up, or do you stop and think about what they say and then try to answer correctly? And I've always told my children, it's not what's said to you that makes you the person you are. It's how you handle what you were said about, they said about you, and how you handle how they treated you. If you're ugly to people, you'll reap ugliness. But if you're sweet to people, people learn that you're not going to be ugly to them. And with the fact that I have 48 first cousins on one family side, the Bryant side, which my grandmother had 13 children. And on my mother's side, there was 11 children, but she lost two of them at birth. So there's 9 aunts and uncles on that side with, they all have children. And some of them have several children. Some of them just have a few. I know mom and dad didn't want to have a big family because they was raised and they were older children of the 13. My daddy was he was the third child in age. And my mother was the first daughter in age with the 9. And they had to help with the other children, and they didn't want large children. But I would sit around as a child and listen to mother and daddy talk, and I'd listen to my grandma and grandpa talk, and there was always something going on. And I thought, man, I can't wait till I get old enough to have children. I want to have at least 13. And boy, have I learned different. Because when you have them 13 kids, you don't just have kids that you can sit around and love and play with. You've got 13 kids that you have to feed, you learn to do without, you take care of your children, you have to clothe them, you have to feed them, you have to send them to school. Matter of fact, you have to make sure their ears is clean and everything else. So there's a lot of work to having big families. And I'm not putting down big families because I love them. But the thing of it is, before you have a big family, you better count the cost. Because I will tell you this, you'll have to be frugal in your life in order to make it with that many children to raise. And I love the Lord and I love my family. And some of my family they have traced the family lineage back to Brewster on the Mayflower that come over. He was a minister and he come over on the Mayflower, and I'm kin to them. We went to the cemetery in New York City and seen where the Brewsters was buried. And God has been good to me. He's blessed my life, and I want for some way, somehow, to bless your life and help you make it through the day and help you mothers to love your children. What you do today is going to affect the rest of your children's life. If you make comments negative to them, they grow up with a negative attitude. But if you put positive thoughts in their head, they grow up to be stable, positive people that help other people. And that's what it's all about. What have I done today to show that Christ is within me and I love everybody out there, and I hope that I have said something that will encourage you to be your best today. Keep your chin up, serve the Lord, and do what's right. See you next time.